Huh.
Hi.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it
Stands one nation under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all. This is Commissioner Rhonda Menlove. I represent Region 1. That's Fox Elder County, Cache, Rich, Morgan, Weber. And it's a beautiful sunny day in Bear Lake today. So Brad, glad that you've got the sun down there.
Good morning, Commissioner Jim Evans. I represent Region 3. I'm down in Utah County, and I cover the counties from Utah County all the way out to Kevin Van Tassel's great area there in the basin. It's good to be with you this morning.
Yes, Kevin Van Tassel, Commissioner at Large for the state. Had every intention of being in Monticello because I love that area, but I just wasn't able to make the drive yesterday, and I don't think I'd want to make it home today. But Bruce, we're thinking about you and wanted to be there, but we'll be listening.
improvement types of projects.
Did it also have a broadband component?
This particular one did not have the broadband component, but we have some others here in just a minute. We'll have some.
I only asked because I've been down here and seen what looked to me like broadband, and
Yes.
I just was curious.
There's been quite an effort in the broadband perspective or activity down here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this one specifically dealt with some major rehabilitation, some of the elements that All right, we'll try that again. Some of the major elements that this project entailed was asphalt rehab. We did some structure rehabilitation, upgrading guardrails, signs, delineators, and those types of things. Those safety elements that provide a much better safety perspective for folks traveling this area. One of the major factors for this part of the state, as I mentioned, is our access to state and national monuments, state parks and national monuments. This project provided a phenomenal improvement to these facilities down here. So not only was this a great project from a UDOT perspective, but this project was nominated for several awards and actually received two great awards for this area. So UAPA, the Utah Asphalt Pavement Association, this project received the Quality of Pavement Award as well as the AGC Award. D1 and 316 project. This is some of our low volume projects. $16 million project that covered over 31 miles of preservation. You can see some of the beautiful vistas that this road provides. This was a major rehab project out here in rural Utah and near some of the Navajo Nation and National Parks areas. So we improved the ride with an asphalt overlay and some lane leveling. And we also provided some safety upgrades with guardrail, barrier, as well as signs and delineators. So again, just a great project out a long ways away from the hustle and bustle. And many of you may recognize this SR 162-262 Energy Corridor project. We've seen it a few times here at Commission. I'm happy to announce that they'll start moving dirt August 13th. We're excited to see that project moving forward. But this is a substantial project. It started nearly 5 years ago when we received the initial tribal grant. And since then, the project, the scope hasn't changed, but the total cost has a little bit. Gone from about 75 million up to 152 million in that time frame. So you can see here it's a huge project. Covers over 54 miles and has nearly every aspect of any road project we've ever done included here, from preservation rehab to a full reconstruction of sections, a new structure replacements, roundabouts, widening shoulders, realignments, flattening slopes. I mean, it really has nearly every element of roadway construction that we can do as a department on this section. So super excited about this project. There's been substantial coordination through both the design and the right-of-way phases with our tribal partners. And some of those have been challenging. A lot of them have been successful and got us to this point in the process. So again, we're excited for the dirt to start moving. We're excited to see this project moving forward. So they'll start construction this fall and anticipate to go through 2026 to wrap this project up. Another project to highlight is our SR 95 Cottonwood Bridge replacement project. You'll notice there in that top left picture, those steel beams, that's not part of the original structure. So we had some rock falls, some erosion that's happened underneath that abutment there that made an urgent effort to put those steel beams there to support this structure. So that was the temporary fix, and now we're coming through with a full bridge replacement. And been great coordination with the Bears Ears Commission. We actually had about 20 representatives on site to do a site visit to help us get some approvals to get this project able to move forward. And so fantastic coordination, yes.
Quick question on that one. Would that have represented a net new money investment in this area because of the nature of the emergency and whatnot, or is it a reallocation of funds that are already here?
This is a structures funded project, so it's a new funded project. It's not a reallocation of any other funds here. The emergency repair likely would have been coming from an emergency pot, but I'm not familiar with it. But just want to highlight a few of our...
That was the right answer, by the way.
Oh, perfect. I just want to highlight a few of our partnership type of projects in the area. And by no means is this all of them. This is just a short list in the last couple of years that we wanted to highlight. So we had the Grand County and Moab Shuttle Transit pilot project that's taken off and been a huge success in the Moab area and Grand County areas. The Moab dispersed parking, for those in Moab over the last day or so, you've probably seen much of that work happening. It's very active and been a good asset. I visited with a few of the county and city officials yesterday, and they're excited about the opportunities that parking provides for them. A Pack Creek Bridge project, a Needles Overlook Road, we'll talk about that here in just a second, as well as a solutions development, and a TAP, a transportation alternative project for Grand County down Holyoke Lane. So this was a project in partnership with our federal partners, a federal lands access program. They were redoing the entire road into the Needles Overlook and approached us about providing some new turn lanes at this intersection to provide a much safer opportunity for people to get out of the fast lane. And so we contributed $481,000 and got an entire new set of turn lanes. So that's left decel, left accel, right-hand accel, and decel as well. So, before you see in that bottom picture, it just had a little short right-hand accel lane. And but so much needed project and a great improvement here. So there really has been a lot of phenomenal work going on down here in the San Juan and Grand counties, and we're excited about the continued opportunities we have to keep people coming to this area and enjoying the great vistas and the opportunities they have here. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No questions, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. I would like to also repeat what Cameron said. For those of you who kind of partially sleep in the meeting, for San Juan County, 310 million since 2014. That's a 71 project. For Grand County, 53 projects, 157 millions. For the mayors, commissioners, public work directors, if you're here, please take it to your constituents, to your citizens. We are working constantly and continually from UDOT and UDOT Commission to improve your safety, the roads, all that is needed to bring the economy and life-saving matters. So it is a lot of money in 10 years period. So please, if you would like a copy of this presentation, reach out and show it in your chamber meetings, public meetings, your commission meetings, mayor's meeting, council meeting. It is very important for your people to know that tax dollars are working and working perfectly. Thank you. Yes, Carlos mentioned about Chad, and Kurt mentioned about the Region 4. I was in it for 2.5 hours yesterday in that flash flood. 3 segments of the road was affected, and we were just hoping and praying that it's gonna not get worse. My wife and I just really firsthand saw the operation, how wonderful people and different agencies come together in cooperation to clean the roads. And by the time we finished, I was impressed to see that Highway Patrol and the pilot truck showed up and escorted me and my wife to the middle of the town. And my wife says, this is for item for the general. I've never been escorted in my life, so that's what it was. So thank you. The next item of agenda is public comments. At this time, we're going to hear from the local, that people are here. I know we have commissioners and mayors from different communities, so I would like to hear from you first, and then we're going to give the opportunity to the online people. So if you come to the microphone, please speak directly to the microphone. State your name and your capacity of your jurisdiction. Thank you. Commissioner Adams, I can see you're anxious to come to forward. By way of disclosure, Commissioner Adams is my dear friend, and we work together in the Community Impact Board, and he's one of the greatest commissioners that we have in the state.
Thank you. I agree. I've been a commissioner, this is my 20th year, and I go back to the John Norge days with Carlos,
Yes.
coming to the commission and speaking. 1879, my ancestors left Parowan to come to settle the San Juan Mission. Things were going pretty good. They had about 100 wagons, maybe a little over 1,000 head of animals. Very industrious people, settlers, pioneers, a lot of things I can describe. Some of them even were relatives of Chet Johnson. That's why he's such a good employee. We've been here, I don't know, Chet, if you counted up, but I've been here for 5 generations. That's why I look so young. Those settlers got to the Colorado River and encountered a rock face that was 1,000 feet down to the Colorado River. Some of the scouts had found a crevice in the rock. I call it a crevice. They decided that they would build a road down through this rock called Hole in the Rock. And a lot of the pioneers that had come on this trek were from England, Wales, Ireland, and they were coal miners. So they knew how to build things. They knew how to use blasting powder, and they knew how to build a road. They got in the middle of this project, and Silas Smith, who was a member of the legislature at that time, said, we can go to the legislature and get some money to buy some blasting powder to build this road. So they bypassed the UDOT commission, I apologize for that, and went straight to the legislature and got $30,000 to buy blasting powder to build that road down through the Hole in the Rock. They thought they'd encountered the worst of the worst, when they build the road down through the hole in the rock, but coming up the other side was pretty difficult. They got to the comb wash, and we're not about to build another road through the comb, so they headed south, went all the way to the San Juan River, and went around the comb, finally found the end of the comb, went around the comb, came up San Juan Hill, which, you know, that story is too long to tell, but it was a difficult travel up San Juan Hill to get into Bluff, where they finally settled. So I am here representing my ancestry. And I want to thank the UDOT Commission for all that you've done for southeastern Utah, for San Juan County, for the state of Utah. We appreciate what you've done. I know you came today to hear my perspective on roads. So I'm going to just tell you what I see going on in the last 20 years. I don't know why, well, I kind of do know why, but the 191-491 corridor between San Juan County and Salt Lake, and even further up into the northwest, Oregon and Washington, has become a major corridor for trucks. And we've seen that truck traffic increase and increase and increase. And last night, I was able with Bailey, Mayor Hedgeland, sorry, Bailey, go to Moab and see the premiere of the movie Horizons, which Kevin Costner filmed in Grand and San Juan County and down in Kane County. And on our way down, we got behind a truck, and he was a flatlander. He wasn't used to things that go up and down. And so from about LaSalle Junction to the top of Blue Hill, we were going about 35 miles an hour. And there was about 50, 60 cars lined up behind this truck. There wasn't any place to get around him. It was safe. You know, the guy right behind the truck, we depend on him to get around the truck so that we can move up, and then we can get around the truck. Well, the guy behind the truck was a flatlander too, and I think 3 or 4 other people. So we traveled 35 miles an hour. I tell you that story for one reason, because that happens a lot on 191 and 491, even all the way to Spanish Fork. Then you get people who do try to go around the truck. They go around him on a double yellow line or a place that's unsafe. Then we have accidents. And so I'm just trying to tell you, from my perspective, truck traffic has doubled, tripled, even quadrupled because of this corridor from Texas, Louisiana, all the way down in the south. And they travel a lot. We appreciate the passing lanes. We appreciate everything that you've done. We know that your plans are to do more, and we applaud you for that. We want a safe highway, just like everybody else. I don't want a freeway. I've been to Salt Lake a couple of times, and I don't know. It seems like about 3 o'clock now, they turn the people loose to go out on the highway, and oh, man, those people drive fast. Anyway, but we appreciate, especially these guys in Region 4, dealing with the tribal people, because the tribal people are, you think EPA is difficult to deal with on a project. You deal with the tribal people, and man, they're tough. They're tough. There's aggregate on the reservation, but we just can't access it. It's just impossible. The county can't access it. The state can't access it. But there's gravel down there. There's material down there that could be used if we could just make a deal. And so that's just kind of my perspective on what's going on in my county, in the areas around where, you know, we we travel to Salt Lake to have meetings because that's where a lot of them are held. But we thank you for coming down here. We know it's not easy to get to an outlook like this. Brad was telling me yesterday, he took his side-by-side, traveled up Arch Canyon, one of the most iconic roads we have in our county, most beautiful roads. Now the BLM wants to close it. BLM wants to close hundreds and hundreds of roads in Grand San Juan County. We're not sure why. Well, we kind of have an idea. We're not going to tell them, are we, Chet? But there's people that want to close all kinds of roads. We want access open. I will tell you, I'm the chairman of the Joint Highway Committee for the state of Utah, and we see a lot of road projects come through the Joint Highway Committee that are forwarded on to you. People are anxious to have access, to have good roads, to have accessibility. So thank you for coming. I appreciate all of you for the service that you render for this. And I really appreciate Nagy because he and I are partners in crime on the CIB. And Brad and I have exchanged a few dollars on the golf course from time to time, mostly me to him. But don't put that in the record, whoever is taking notes.
Off the record.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Just a real quick question on the truck traffic and what you described there. Is it passing lanes is the primary issue? More passing lanes?
Yeah, definitely more passing lanes. You know, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but it looks to me like you come off of I-70 and head towards Moab. You've done some passing lanes there. You know, you get a little further down, there's two lanes on each side before you get to the airport. That's nice flat ground. It looks to me like it would be easy to put 4 lanes from the I-70 down even past the airport coming into Moab. A lot of the traffic that I encounter like to stop in Moab, which is okay with me if they want to stop in Moab. But yeah, there's a need for all of that, and these Region 4 guys know it. It's just a matter of dollars, and so you know, you're right. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. And for those of you who are interested to know the rest of the story, for the ancestry of the Adams family, read the Undaunted, the book from General Lunt, all about the Carlisle family, FM family, the Kansas City and Texas families, that how they fought over the water that they were not even entitled to. It's a great, great story to read. Thank you, Commissioner. Let's see if we have other commissioners. Please, Mayor.
Just piggybacking off a little bit of what Bruce said, I had a resident here of Monticello who asked me to read this public comment, and it kind of puts it a little more succinctly for us. He says, I want to thank the commission for coming way over to the southeast corner of the state to meet in our beautiful city. I was looking forward to making these comments in person, but we had a new grandson on Monday, and Grandma Black says it's time to go visit. Monticello sits on the artery of traffic from all of Texas and New Mexico to the Pacific Northwest. Highways 491 and 191 are the second busiest north-south routes in the state behind I-15. There is no passing zone on 491 westbound in the 17 miles from the Colorado state line to Monticello. It takes another 10 minutes northbound on 191 to reach a passing zone. Consequently, the double lanes in town become a passing area where people race to get around slow traffic. There are more speeding citations written in the city of Monticello than any place. I'm not sure about that one, but we have a lot. We're known as a speed zone. So, there are many opportunities for UDOT to build passing lanes in straight, flat areas in the existing right-of-way where it would be most economical. The pattern of alternating passing zones in each direction would be fantastic, much like the highway between Green River and Price. Spanish Valley on 191 desperately needs a 4-lane highway with a center turn lane. Often the southbound uphill traffic is traveling 20 miles an hour below the speed limit for 8 to 10 miles due to a slow truck or RV. There are passing zones, but like Sammy Hagar says, there's too much traffic, I can't pass. My wife and I both have businesses in Moab, and we travel often. Also, over 50 people commute to Moab to work every day from Monticello. Lastly, I hope the members will take the opportunity to drive east from the traffic light on 191. The road to the port of entry is like a cobblestone road. I've heard it is scheduled, and I hope it gets done. Thank you for considering my input, John Black.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Any other person, please, don't be shy. Please.
My name is George Rice. I'm a Monticello City Council member. I'm also a Public Works employee. I would just like to thank the commission. Recently, we had a light put in for the crosswalks on Main Street on 191 North. I'd like to thank you all for that. That has been a very big safety issue for our youth in Monticello. And for the crossing, I would just like to take that opportunity to thank you for letting that happen and making that possible. That's been a big plus for our community, and also kind of what our mayor has said and Commissioner Adams. The truck traffic is a big issue here, and so we'd like to also keep that in mind as we move forward, and hopefully that we can add those passing lanes. I'd like to kind of confirm what they've said, that is a very big issue here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yeah, I'm Commissioner Winfield from Grand County, Bill Winfield. I'd like to thank you guys especially for the work that you have been doing in our area, because it's made some big differences, even as recently as the project at the Raptor State Park. That's going to, it's not quite open yet unless it happened today, but it'll help add, again, another passing lane on that corridor that, as Bruce said, and others, you know, that we just need to be able to open up traffic a little bit. The truck traffic the count is becoming higher and higher on a regular basis. I can't quote numbers because I don't have them in front of me, but I've heard that it's something like 17,000 a day that are passing through Moab. So we definitely need somewhere for the people to get around those trucks when we have to deal with not only the flatlanders, but because of the terrain, it's not easy for those trucks to crawl up out of the Moab Valley coming this direction, whether they're flatlanders or not. It's a real struggle. So we do have some needs, and I've been working with Mr. Beard and others in your district, and I really appreciate the fact of what they're looking at as far as helping with a future light at Aggie Boulevard. We've got a new university there in Moab now, and we have a lot of students and staff that come out of there, and although the number count doesn't quite work to get a light yet, the danger of that intersection is pretty much, it's paramount that we do something to take care of that. And so they're already looking at it, and I just want to thank them, and I really appreciate the fact that even if we do some kind of a joint effort there. Okay. And then the other issue that I see coming through is the need for some frontage roads along 191 in that business corridor of Moab, because we've tried to do a couple of housing projects, and the cost is astronomical to get a turning lane off of 191 to allow that to happen, so they don't end up happening because there's no way to add that burden onto some kind of workforce housing to get on and off because of the requirements of UDOT. So that corridor through there, getting some frontage roads in the future will mean a lot to traffic in that area also, as far as keeping the trucks moving and allowing the public to have the safety of those frontage roads. And I just want to thank you again for everything you guys are doing. I did want to add one little note to Bruce's story about the hole in the rock. I grew up with a family who had folks that came down through there, and they had a set of blind mules, believe it or not, and so they used their mules for every trip down there with every wagon to help through that hole in the rock. So although I wasn't there personally, I do have ties to Hole in the Rock as well. It was pretty amazing feat for some pioneers that didn't know what they were getting into. So again, thank you for what you are doing in our district.
Commissioner, if you get the promise from USU to put a creamery by the Aggie Boulevard, we may do something about it.
I'll work on that.
Hey, Commissioner, I'm slow, but I think I'm getting this. So they're blind and therefore they're willing to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they knew what they were doing. They-
Yeah, so the people were blind too in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other person? Don't be shy. Like I said, the first 2 minutes are free. Okay, seeing none, I'm going online. Commissioner Holly Daines, Mayor. Sorry, not Commissioner, Mayor. Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm just a little slow at getting my microphone off. I'm just here to listen to the discussion on the Logan Main Street Underpass Funding Edition. Just thank you for considering that, and we'll answer any questions if need be.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Now we're going to hear from Kevin Kitchen, the Director of the Region 4, Communication Director. He has 2 online comments that he will read.
Thank you, Commissioner. Our first online message comes from Glenn Garrick, Systems Sustainability Director at Intermountain Health. Utah Transportation Commission. Intermountain Health understands the importance of clean air and the impact our fleet and commuting staff, community members, are having on the environment. We've been slowly working towards supporting a cleaner fleet and supporting community members and staff with electric vehicles to reduce the tailpipe air pollution in the communities that we serve throughout Utah. If COVID taught us anything, it was the very visible improvement in air quality simply by reducing the number of vehicles with combustion engines on the roads. I personally would like to encourage you to provide funding for the Utah Clean Truck Incentive Program to help transition the transportation and shipping infrastructure to be a cleaner and healthier choice for the air quality and health of our communities. Thank you for your time. Glenn Garrick, System Sustainability Director, Intermountain Health. And we have one more comment from Elaine Gisler, San Juan County Director of Economic Development and Visitor Services. She has several questions. I have several inquiries for San Juan County. How many deaths have been recorded on Highway 191 from Spanish Fork through San Juan County? Where does the number of fatalities on this highway rank in the state roadways? Mexican Hat roadway berm is exceptionally high on the side where the hotels are located. Motorcycles have tipped over and entered the parking lots. Can the speed limit through the city of Monticello be reduced to 25 miles per hour? So many kids crossing. Respectfully, Elaine Gisler, San Juan County, Director of Economic Development and Visitor Services.
Thank you, Kevin. Anyone else from online community? If not, I will close the public hearing. Thank you. Item number 4 in your agenda is Federal Highway Administration. At this time, we're going to hear from our dear friend, Ivan Morero.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I am Ivan Morero, and I serve as the Division Administrator for the Federal Highway Administration's Utah Division. Thank you, as always, for giving me a couple of minutes to bring you up on some of the items from the federal side. Let's see. To follow up on that discussion about electric vehicles and air quality, I was actually in Moab yesterday. I had the pleasure of being invited to celebrate the opening of Utah's first electric vehicle charging station funded by the National Electric Vehicle and Infrastructure Program Funds, or NEVI. I was joined there by UDOT and the City of Moab, the National Park Service representatives, and the Rocky Mountain Power representatives to celebrate that event. It is that makes Utah the 7th state in the nation to open a charging station under this program. We have 14 more to go to build around the state. The goal is to have them along the interstates every 50 miles or so. So we hope that will make it more convenient for those electric vehicle owners to drive around the state. We may have been the 7th in the state, but we certainly were are number one as far as scenery. That was a beautiful, that is a beautiful setting for chargers there. So congratulations to UTA for being one of the nation's leaders in electric vehicle infrastructure. Couple of race grants that coincidentally happen to be down here in Region 4. Region 4 has been very successful in applying for and receiving grants from the Federal Highway Administration. They were just, I think on Wednesday morning, they announced these two grants. So San Juan County, or UDOT, received a $9.6 million grant for planning this project in San Juan County. And it goes from, they're going to use it to study putting in paved shared use trails along US 91, US 160, and US 162, and in the Navajo Nation. So apparently it's going to cover up to 160 miles. The study will, and congratulations to you that in San Juan, the San Juan County area. I gotta say, this is my first time driving down to San Juan County. I did fly down here one time, but it's, my friends, when I told people I was coming down this way, they told me, you're going to a beautiful part of the world, and they were not lying. It is a beautiful place, and that is a really nice golf course. I wish I'd known. I could have prepared better. The other grant goes to the city of Green River, and that's worth $3.6 million, and they're gonna be studying building this 6.3-mile road to provide access to their industrial park. So congratulations to Green River. I wanted to, Commissioner Gogner, you asked about that bridge, the Cottonwood Wash Bridge, and the funding. That is being funded by emergency relief funds from the Federal Highway Administration up to 80%. So it was additional funds to the ones that state already gets. So yeah, they were able to qualify for emergency relief funding. And actually all this damage that we've had here in the region over the last week or so, if there is an emergency declaration by the governor, we could take a look at those and see if they can be funded with emergency relief funding also. We had a couple of funding announcements. This one for the charging and fueling infrastructure grant program. This is a program that funds the deployment of additional electric vehicle charging and alternate fuel fueling locations in rural areas and urban areas, and also in our alternative fuel corridors. So there's two categories. One is the community charging and fueling grant, and now the other one is the alternative fuel corridor grant. And there's up to $1.3 billion available, and it's going to be split between the new applications, and there'll be $800 million available there, and then there's going to be $521 million available for grants that were submitted previously and were highly rated, but they were not selected. So the applicants can decide whether they want to submit a new grant or resubmit the one that was previously submitted. And these are the eligible applicants, the states, of course, the metropolitan planning organizations, local agencies, Indian tribes, U.S. territories, and such. So it's a broad group of agencies that can that are eligible to apply, and the deadline is August 28th.
Where does UDOT stand on submitting? I guess maybe hear that later.
I'm trying to, well, this one was just recently announced, so I'm not sure. I would imagine.
There's a notice of
if,
funding.
I think, I'm trying to think if, did UDOT get a CFI grant? I think they previously received a grant already. But yeah, if they want to continue to apply, not only UDOT, but any local jurisdiction can apply.
As with most grants, we look at all of them
Yeah.
and take a look and see if it makes sense. But we have done some discretionary grant in the charging area before. So.
We received a grant, and we made a.
Yeah, I think we got one to repair some.
Yeah, some repairs.
Existing chargers, and then I think we put together some applications in this one. So.
Yeah, I can get you that information before we go on the specific grant. So.
I was just saying, I was at Washington DC this week, and Transportation Secretary Buttigieg was just saying, they're out there, you all come, and so.
Yeah, this one that just recently opened in Moab. I'm not an electric vehicle owner yet, but I was told that in 30 minutes you can charge your vehicle, and apparently between Salt Lake City and Moab, there's not much as far as electric charging, so it's very difficult for people to come down. So, and I think all the visitors who come to the area will benefit from that being there also. This grant was announced on the 30th of May. It's called the Advanced Digital Construction Management System. And actually, this is another grant that UDOT has previously received. And it's for advancing digital construction management systems, practices, and technology. So it, again, UDOT received $5 million before for, it was called the Advancing Digital Construction to Support UDOT's Digital Twin. Don't ask me exactly what it's for, but it sounds like they're using it to kind of have one place where all that data is housed and it's accessible. So as they design projects or build projects, they can access that information and design and build these projects more efficiently and economically. Another one that Utah has been successful before. We've announced the new round of the Wildlife Crossing pilot program. As you guys know, wildlife, vehicle impact collisions with wildlife is a serious issue nationwide. Over 1 million, there are over 1 million collisions, and hundreds of fatalities. So this program will help fund for the planning and construction of wildlife crossing projects. There's up to $100 million available for interested applicants, and the deadline is September 4th. Another funding opportunity, seems like we got grants just about every other week. This is called the Strengthening Mobility and Revolutionizing Transportation, or a SMART grant program. And it kind of goes along with the V2X program that I'm going to talk about next. But it's a two-stage program. First, applicants apply and they present what they are proposing to use their funds for, and then on the stage 2 they can receive additional funds or apply for additional funds. And it's to promote smart vehicle technology where vehicles and can interact or communicate with all just about everything, traffic lights, traffic signals, and get advanced warning of accidents and things like that. So the application deadline is July 12th. I would imagine UDOT will be very interested in this program. But local agencies, tribal governments, public transportation agencies can also apply. So on June 20th, we had a big event in Utah. We had the Federal Highway Administrator traveled to Utah to join several people announcing the granting of a $20 million grant for Utah and for their V2X deployment. This grant is not just for Utah. I guess it will be used also to advance this technology or expand this technology into Wyoming and to Colorado. So congratulations on that. We had a very nice event. I know several of you were there, and I was happy to join you all. So, and that's all I have for you this morning. As usual, there are a lot of grants out there. Anybody wanting more information can go to this website and find out more. I would encourage every agency, every city, every county to go in there and look. And if you have any questions, I know Ben's office is available to provide some guidance, and our office is available to explain what these different grants are and what's out there for you. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivan. Item number 5 on the agenda is UDOT scoreboard, and as you can see, Lisa Wilson is already volunteered to do the job for Carmen. And if you don't know Lisa, she is famous because there's an arch named after her on the Highway 191. Wilson's Arch.
Are you moving this, Heather?
Wilson.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm Lisa Wilson, the Deputy Director for Engineering and Operations. And I'm here today to give the project delivery report. This one's significant because it's the last one of the current fiscal year. So the numbers you see are fairly close to final. I will point out a change here though. We are showing that we've got 7 projects currently past due. 1 is being advertised as we speak, so that will drop to 6. So we're currently showing 169 projects advertised this year for almost $1.8 billion worth of work out to our contractors at an 89% delivery on time, successfully achieving the goal of at least 85%. Since the last meeting with the commission, we've advertised 20 projects for almost $88 million. And you can see here our advertising chart. This is what it typically looks like. In the summer months, it is usually quite a bit lower, and it will ramp up starting probably August, September-ish. We'll start climbing again. We currently have 196 active construction projects. You can see here we've paid out to the contractors right now almost $1.7 billion, with a remaining 1.3 on those contracts that are out for work right now. And our monthly contractor payments so far in June, we paid out $95 million. Right? Is that $95 million? And June will be a little bit higher once the month closes out. Our engineer estimates, you can see here, have been coming in a lot better. We've had a lot fewer projects having to come back for additional funds, although we do have one on the agenda today for a little bit later. And that is the delivery report. Any questions?
Any questions? Anyone from Jim, Kevin, Rhonda? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, great report so far. Thanks, Nagi.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Now you can see that Troy Peterson is anxious to come to the rest of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Commissioners. Happy to be here this morning to give you an update on our zero fatality strategic direction. Let me scroll up just a little bit here, maybe. Start out here, just with highlight our fatality rate right now. You'll notice on the far right of the graph that I'm showing here that we're sitting at 0.66 for our fatality rate. I've mentioned this before, anything below 1 is considered really good. Nationwide, our numbers from a nation standpoint is about 1.3. So you will see our number fluctuate throughout the year as our fatality numbers as they increase, and as well as how VMT plays into that factor. So you can see right now we're sitting about 16 billion vehicle miles traveled through June so far. And with that, we'll jump down to our fatality numbers. I'll report. Lovely. Okay, sorry about that. As a reminder, there's two lines on this graph. The blue line is our actual number, and the orange is the target. We set that target as a reminder. We take the 3 previous years and average those and reduce that by 2.5% to come up with a target for reduction as we move toward strive for that zero fatality goal. Currently, we're sitting at 112 fatalities. And I mentioned before our target was 136, so we're about, roughly, let me see if I've got that number, 18% below that target for our actuals. One thing I'd like to mention too is we look at our zero fatalities. We are in that time frame, that 100 deadliest days. We're about a third of the way through the 100 deadliest days. I think 36 today. So today we're sitting at 25 fatalities in the 100 deadliest days. And you can see through in this graph kind of how that looks over the last number of years, like back to 2016. Which if you look at those, generally it's around, averages a little less than 1 per day. So if we're 35 and we're sitting at 24, look, that's actually looking, that's promising that we continue to stay at that lower rate. One thing I would like to go back to on the zero fatalities is highlight the number of vulnerable users that are part of this, 112. We have 35 of that 112 is our vulnerable user category, the pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorists. Pedestrians, we have 14, and one of the things I mentioned, our 5-year average on pedestrian fatalities is 17, so we're a little bit below the 5-year average right now. Motorcycles, we have 19 fatalities. The 5-year average is 13, so we're on the wrong side of that average right now for motorcyclist fatalities. And then bicyclists, we're sitting at 2. And like I mentioned before, our 5-year average is 3, so it's right in, unfortunately, it's right on, pretty close. Let's scroll down here. Suspected serious traffic injuries. We're sitting at 624. Target reduction was 566, so we're about 10% higher than our target reduction for suspected serious traffic injuries. Traffic crashes overall, we're sitting at about 25,000, and that reduction was was 22 roughly 23,000 was our target for reduction there. And so you see we're above the average on both those crashes and serious crashes. And that's what I have today. I do always like to give you my 5 reminders for safe driving behaviors. And that is to always wear a seatbelt, drive focused, calm, alert, and sober. And with that, any questions?
Maybe you alluded to it, but maybe more depth, but any updates on the wrong way traffic issues?
So wrong way traffic, so nothing new really to report on those numbers. We're still sitting at 5 for the year. We do have 3 confirmed toxicology reports that 3 of those 5 were DUIs.
All 5 in Salt Lake County?
That is a great question. I don't know. I believe there was one in on I-84 in Region 1, and I think the rest were in Utah County or in Salt Lake County. But I would have to verify that one. I don't have that information in front of me right now.
Okay. Any other question? Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
Now we're pleased to hear from Dave Hyman, who's going to be talking about Utah General Aviation Association and Aviation Coalition.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
My name is Dave. Well, yesterday the weather was really bad, and so I didn't fly. And they say if you own your own airplane and you absolutely have to be there, don't fly your own airplane. My name is Dave Haymond. I'm the president of the Utah General Aviation Association, and this morning I am representing the Utah Aviation Coalition as their spokesman. And I would like to, if I could, give you a handout.
Thank you.
And for those online, I'm sorry, I don't have one for you. What the handout shows you is who the members of the Utah Aviation Coalition are. The Utah Aviation Coalition represents the majority of all general aviation users and aircraft owners in the state of Utah. In 2022, the Utah legislature, in one of their bills, codified our right as an association to present general aviation interests to the Transportation Commission, and that's why I'm here this morning. As you may know, the Utah Division of Aeronautics is funded by the Aeronautics Restricted Account. The Aeronautics Restricted Account the monies in that account are put there through aircraft registration fees and aviation fuel taxes. And so the money that the Division of Aeronautics operates on are user fees. And that is why I'm here, okay? So because we put that money in there, we want to be represented to the commission. So the Division of Aeronautics has a program where the Utah Aviation Coalition meets with them on a quarterly basis, and we review the monies that are budgeted in the aircraft capital improvement plan. And this is the money we put in there, so we want to have a say in how it's spent in our airports. And we're very concerned about aviation safety and everything that has to do with airports in the state of Utah. We have reviewed the current ACIP, Aircraft Capital Improvement Plan, in our meetings with the members of Matt Moss and his staff, and we would like to encourage the Transportation Commission to approve the current ACIP as submitted. This capital improvement plan is not only for the years of 2025, but it also projects forward for 5 years. So we appreciate the opportunity to be here. We appreciate everything the Division of Aeronautics does for aviation in the state of Utah, and we appreciate the commission for letting us present today. Thank you. Any questions?
Dave, before you go, for the online members, would you please read the name of the members? You have the handed out, so
Yes,
just read it, so
let me read those
it
individually.
will be good for the record.
So currently, we have 9 members of the Utah Aviation Coalition. They include the Utah Business Aviation Association, the Utah Airport Operators Association, Utah Backcountry Pilots Association, Utah General Aviation Association, that's my group, Utah Aviation Educators Association. Those are the folks that train our upcoming pilots and mechanics at our universities. AUVSI, which is the Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International, Mountain West Unmanned Systems Alliance, the Utah wing of the Civil Air Patrol, and the Experimental Aircraft Association. So we cover the bases of everybody that's flying in Utah.
Would you please explain what that Experimental Aircraft Association means, number 9? What do you mean by the experimental?
I'm sorry, I'm so hard of hearing. I'm gonna
The
stay
number,
closer.
number 9, just define number 9, experimental aircraft.
The Experimental Aircraft Association are a group of people nationwide, and we have Utah chapters, and these are the people that build their own airplanes. And they build their own airplanes. They're not what we call certificated aircraft. And so they're deemed experimental in the aviation community. These airplanes include our restored warbirds, the World War II aircraft, the World War I aircraft that are restored and flight. They are all certified as experimental aircraft. So that's who they are. Any other questions I can answer?
Dave, I just want to give a comment and a compliment to you, Matt, and your team for the excellent conference we had this last month. The attendance, the groups, the discussion, the tone, it was all superb. So congratulations to you all.
Thank you very much. We actually had a review with the committee yesterday on that conference, and we had 549 people attend that conference. And next year, we're going to do it at Utah State University, and we're excited for that. So we hope you are able to attend that next year with us.
That was one of the more energized groups of conferences I've ever been to.
You know, aviators are a
Different breed.
they're a different breed. We have a close-knit community. Did you know that that there are probably less, when you combine private pilots, military pilots, and commercial pilots, I think there's, in the United States, around, what is it, Matt, 600,000 pilots in the United States, that is a very small group of people. And we're a very tight-knit group of people, and we watch each other's backs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, now we're going to business items. Item number 7 and 8 will be presented by Ivan Hardle, who's coming anxiously to present it. For the commissioners that are online, join us, Commissioner Evans, Commissioner Menlove, and Commissioner Van Tassel. I need your voices, especially for the motion and second, live and audible for the record, please. At the end of the meeting, please don't go away quickly. We have to also certify that you are still with us. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Morning, Commissioner, Mr. Chair. Ivan Hartle, Financial Program for the Department. Our first item is item number 7. It's the consent agenda. Included in the consent agenda are the packets that include the minutes for last month's workshop as well as the last month's commission meeting. The projects that also includes a list of projects. These projects have either been awarded, have been identified with budget amounts that can be recovered, or in the closeout process and have funding that we are able to remove and reprogram. So included in the packet again, just kind of quickly scroll through, we have the minutes from the May workshop, the second part of our programming workshop for 2024, as well as then the minutes from the next day, our commission meeting on Friday, May 10th, reviewing all the actions and items taken with the commission. And then our last page is the project's returning funds. See a total of 5 projects, just under $3.4 million. Our request today is a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I'll make that motion, Nagi.
Thank you.
I second that. This is Commissioner Evans.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next items are moving to item number 8. It's 8A-1. This is a underpass below SR 8991 at Logan River, which is 600 South. This is adding funds to an existing project. This project is to install a pedestrian underpass under Logan Main Street near the north side of the Logan River, which will connect an east-west Logan River Trail. Inflation and extra expenses due to utilities conflicts with increased costs. You can see our current breakdown of the funding. This project was part of the 80-20 match. And then the proposed additional of the current TIF active, which carries a required 40% match from the local. There are several items on this project that will be covered from our transportation solutions. Their pavement projects will be on the surface of the roadway that we can use transportation funds or proposing transportation funds. So located here on our map, you can see north side of the Logan River, connecting the trail that currently runs at grade, crossing the 5 lanes of travel. Our request today is a motion to approve adding funds to the underpass below SR 8991 at Logan River project as detailed.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Thank you. Mayor Daines, do you have any comments at this point?
No, if there's any questions, we're happy to answer them, but we again appreciate the consideration.
Well, thank you for your contribution. Thank you. We appreciate that. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8A-1 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations, Mayor.
Our next item, 8A-2, is a dual right turn lanes on 650 North at southbound I-15. Also in Region 1 is a transportation solutions funding increase of $500,000. This project was to create was created this year to accommodate heavy traffic movement at the interchange near Hill Air Force Base and is planned to construct this summer. It has been advertised, and this increase is to address increased costs to traffic control and mobilization to cover higher bid prices and allow the department to award the project. So located here on our map, I-15 entry of Hill Air Force Base, and a zoom-in view of the project location. Our request today is a motion to approve adding funds to the dual right turn lanes at 650 North on southbound I-15 as detailed.
Happy to make that motion, Nagi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion. This
Thank
is
you.
Commissioner Menlo.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments regarding this particular project? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8A-2 is approved.
Thank you. 8A-3, moving to Region 2, we have our transportation alternative projects. We have 5 projects in Murray, Mill Creek, Salt Lake County, Cottonwood Heights, and West Valley City. Region 2 conducted an application period to determine eligible projects in Tooele, Summit, and Salt Lake counties. The region received 13 applications through this process. This request is to approve adding 5 transportation alternative projects to the current STIP. The Murray City Parkway, 5400 South to Sunbury Drive. This project will install a sidewalk along Murray Parkway at the bus stop. The Salt Lake County Creek Road and 2162 East. This project will install sidewalk, curb, and gutter on the south side of the road, tying into existing sidewalk on both sides. Our Cottonwood Heights project, project number 3, 2175 East, 7425 South. The project will install sidewalks, curb, and gutter on the north side of the road, filling in 2 gaps at 7425 South and 2175 East. In Mill Creek, Spring Hollow Drive, 2700 East at 2666 East, 2666 East. The project will install sidewalks along Spring Hollow Drive from 2700 East to 2666, tying into the existing sidewalk. And then our last project in West Valley, project will install sidewalks at both sides of Lancer Way, and bike lanes will be added to the roadway, providing a link between 3200 West and 2700 West, both regional bike corridors. This project is currently funded with TTIF and WFRC funds. So located here on our maps, Murray Parkway, our Creek Road, and 2162 East. Project number 3. Spring Hollow Drive project. And then our last, West Valley City. Our request today is a motion to approve Region 2's transportation alternative projects as detailed.
There's a question. Go ahead, Commissioner.
My question is, that many of these are sidewalks in residential neighborhoods, it appear. Do the residents have a say in this? Do they request it? Do they approve it? Are they advised about it? I mean, sometimes it can be disruptive. I'm just curious.
We can, I think we have,
Lisa's here.
Lisa's here, if you want to talk to them.
Mr. Chair, as Lisa, maybe talk about the process the region goes through to identify these projects.
Lisa Zundel, Region 2 Deputy Director. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner, for the question. The region sends out requests for applications for this program, and the local jurisdictions are the ones that submit the applications. And so they're close to their communities and understand what their communities need and what their residents are asking for. All of these projects are filling in gaps in the sidewalk to help the walkability of these communities and improve the active transportation use in these areas.
That's very helpful. So it's a bottom-up approach.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it says.
Yes.
great. I think you got it. I'd like to move that we approve that.
Okay, that's a good thing. There's a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8A-3 is approved. Thank you.
Our next item, 8A-4, I-15 Payson Main Street Interchange Phase 1. In the 2023 Utah General Legislative Session, Senate Bill 2 directed the department to complete an interchange upgrade on I-15 at Payson Main Street. The I-15 Payson Main Street Interchange Phase 1 project will construct an interchange to provide additional access to Payson and improve mobility. Funding for the project in Senate Bill 2 was contingent upon a substantial right-of-way donation. In the August 2023 Transportation Commission meeting, $300,000 was dedicated for the preparation of right-of-way plans, documents, and related activities necessary to facilitate that right-of-way donation. The donation process is now complete, and the project is ready to proceed with design and receive the remaining $94.7 million of dedicated funding from the legislative bill. So this is just a snippet from Senate Bill 2. And the Mountain Land Association of Governments approved this action on their July 31st, 2023 meeting. Located here on our map. And our request today is a motion to add funding to the I-15 Payson Main Street Interchange Phase 1 project as detailed.
I'd move for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. Yes.
Second.
Go ahead, please, Commissioner.
I see here, I'm behind on this one because I see that you have a right-of-way donation, but I don't see any information that's presented of where that donation came from and who contributed that right-of-way monies to aid the project.
Okay. I think.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I know Rob, right, no. Is Rob Clayton online?
Yes, he is.
Let's ask Rob Clayton to respond.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Rob Clayton. I'm the Region 3 Director for UDOT. The donation was with PRI, the land unit of the church, and the location. If we can put the map back up, I can describe that to you. It was about 42 acres of property that was donated. And there was a negotiation that occurred during the last session of the legislature. The PRI property is along the green line that shows the future alignment of Nebo Beltway that would be built with this project. And all the property, or most of it along that stretch between SR 198 and I-15 is owned by PRI.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? And for those of you who travel this interchange, you know that is the needed one. And of course, as you notice in the parentheses, it's phase 1. So phase 2, 3 is coming also. Just wait for it. With that, all in favor of this project, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8A-4 is approved.
Thank you. Our next item, 8A-5, SR 132 Passing Lane, milepost 38 to Nebo Loop Road. This is a new project from the Transportation Solutions Program with Region 3 and Sanpete County. You can see it's a split between UDOT 2.7 million and Sanpete County at 2.5 million. The purpose and scope of this project is to establish consistent passing opportunities with a maximum of 6 miles between passing opportunities, as well as providing its consistent 4-foot shoulder along the 4-foot shoulder width along the corridor. The scope of this project is to widen SR 132 from milepost 38 to milepost 39 to accommodate a westbound passing lane and to provide that consistent 4-foot shoulder on the eastbound side. These improvements will increase capacity and safety on the SR 132 corridor. Region 3 and Region 4 completed a study investigating safety issues along SR 132 between Nephi and Fountain Green. The study identified 12 safety priority projects. To date, 2 of those projects were constructed in 2023, 2 will be constructed in 2024, and this project will be the 5th of the identified projects. Sanpete County will contribute $2.5 million to this project, as the capacity and safety as SR 132 is vital to their transportation needs. So located here on our map, you can see where it is along Nephi Canyon.
Got a quick question. I'm actually being funny, but are there a lot of flatlanders in that area? I've learned a new term for our commission meetings.
Well, for those of you travel to see the change of colors during the fall, this is the place to go to, and this is the place that has all the traffic, so it is needed project.
Our request today is a motion to approve the SR 132 passing lane, milepost 38.1 to Nebo Loop Road project as detailed.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make that motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Van Tassel.
I'd second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, further questions, comments? Susan?
No, I'm just looking it up. I'm just looking it up, and that seems like a really good thing to do, and it'll benefit our dear governor.
So it is beautiful.
And I think, this is Commissioner Evans, I think right there westbound where they're entering off of the loop and you have perhaps people pulling trailers, and other thing, that's a great place to put this, have that passing lane, so it helps with the influx of slow traffic.
It's a beautiful place. Thank you. All in favor of this project, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8A-5 is approved.
Thank you. Included in the packet is the commitment from Sanpete County. Our next item, 8A-6, is the US 89 Wildlife Crossing and Fencing milepost 48 to 56. This is a new project that will be funded between the a federal grant opportunity, the Wildlife Crossing project that Ivan Marrero presented earlier, as well as Senate Bill 2 from the legislative funds, and then the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources also has some funding. This project will construct 3 wildlife crossings for wildlife to safely cross US 89, and will also install 7.2 miles of fencing east of Kanab from milepost 48 to milepost 56. This project will allow wildlife in the area to maintain their natural migratory patterns and provide a safe improvement for vehicles traveling through this area. UDOT applied for and received the Federal Wildlife Crossing Pilot Program grant to help fund this project in addressing the safety in this important section of US 89. So located here on our map, you can see the south part of the state in Kane County, and then a zoomed in section of 89 east of Kanab. This is an example of some of the crossings.
Okay, beautiful.
And our request today is a motion to approve adding the US 89 Wildlife Crossing and Fencing milepost 48 to 56 project to the current STIP as detailed.
So moved.
Thank you.
Happy to second it, and I really like the safety aspect of this.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? That is a beautiful picture right there. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8A-6 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next project, 8A-7, is our TIF active project approval. We have 2 projects on our table. They were presented in the May 2024 programming workshop for review, and the project list is now submitted for approval. Of the 2 projects, the 700 East Cycle Track and Pedestrian Improvements is a St. George project. The 700 East Cycle Track and Pedestrian Improvement Project is located adjacent to Utah Tech University. The project boundaries extend from 600 South to Temple Springs Trail on the north end of St. George Boulevard. The project includes a 2-way curb-separated cycle track, standard bike lanes, curb bulb outs, and other pedestrian improvements. The project extends along the primary corridor for Utah Tech University and brings our multi-use trail system into downtown St. George. The project connects existing bike lanes and paved multi-use trail systems. Our second project in Sandy, SR 209 Quarry Bend Pedestrian Bridge Project, is located adjacent to the Quarry Bend Park in Sandy City. This project includes a grade-separated crossing over SR 209, or 90th South, at Quarry Bend, which is 900 East, and sidewalk to connect into the existing Sandy Canal Trail. This will connect the residential area of the south to the retail and recreation areas north of SR 209. So located here on our map in St. George, showing the location of the projects. And then in Sandy City here near Quarry Bend. Our request today is a motion to approve the TIF active projects as detailed.
I think I can see this, but so the Sandy one is actually a bridge over Highway 209.
It's a grade separated crossing.
Yes.
Yeah, and for both bicycles and pedestrian.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
So that was your motion?
I'll make the motion, sure.
Thank you.
Second the motion.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8A-7 is approved.
Thank you. 8A-8 is our TIF first mile, last mile projects. Again, the list of these projects were presented in last month's workshop for review and now requesting approval. Our Big Cottonwood Creek Trail, Midvale Track Station at Maple Street, Salt Lake Canal and East Jordan Canal Trails in Sandy, Madison Avenue and Gold Star Shared Use Path in Ogden, Cottonwood Street buffered bike lanes in Midvale, 4800 West bike lanes and sidewalks in West Valley City, 2200 West bike lanes and sidewalk in West Valley City, Main Street and West Temple bike lanes in South Salt Lake, the Magna Downtown Revitalization Project. And those projects were awarded a federal grant, and the requested match is from the TTIF program. Our Roy Front Runner Underground above ground pedestrian bike crossing study, and then a new one that was not presented last month that we're adding for approval, the Bryan Head Commercial Corridor Shuttle Stops and Crosswalk Project. The above table shows those TTIF projects that were presented for review and now submitted for approval. The scope of the Cottonwood Trail is a multi-use path to connect 175 West Development Trail to Opus Green Trail on the north side of Big Cottonwood Creek. This project will provide first last mile connection to the Murray North Track Station. The second, the project scope will provide first last mile connections to the Midvale Fort Union Track Station through a 10-foot wide paved multi-use path. The path will connect the station to Maple Street at 100 West. A new cul-de-sac will be constructed at the end of Maple Street. And then in Sandy, the project scope will install a 1/4 mile long, 12-foot wide paved pathway that will provide a connection from 90th South on State Street near the historic Sandy Track Station to 9400 South along the Jordan Canal. In Ogden, the project scope will provide first last mile connections to BRT stations at the intersection of 25th Street and Jefferson Avenue and 25th Street and Monroe Boulevard by improving active transportation infrastructure at 6 key intersections along Madison Avenue. In addition, the shared use paths will be constructed from East Park Boulevard to Madison Avenue. Then our Cottonwood Street buffered bike lanes between 215 Fashion Place West Station and Catalpa Street in Midvale Fort Union Station. And then we have Midvale Center Street protected bike lanes to reconstruct Center Street and reduce the lane configuration from 5 lanes to 3 lanes, transitioning back to 5 lanes just west of State Street and just east of Main Street. The new configuration will have improved sidewalks on both sides of the street, in addition to a new shared use path running the length of the project. This project will include some drainage improvements, geometric improvements, and pavement reconstruction. Then our Main Street and Holden buffered bike lanes along Winchester Street and Center Street, buffering where possible. The project will provide first last mile connections to the Bingham Junction track station and the flex bus routes F202, F570, and F578. Our 4800 West bike lanes and sidewalk. The project scope is to add buffered bike lanes, fill in sidewalk gaps, and widen the roadway to provide a consistent cross-section along 4800 West between 35th South and 3100 South in West Valley City, also providing first last mile connections to UTA bus routes 248 and 35. Also in West Valley City, the project scope is to add new bike lanes along 2200 West for a half-mile stretch between 3800 South and 4100 South. In addition, fill in gaps in the existing sidewalk network on this section of the roadway and support better walking and biking connections to 2 UTA bus routes and the West Valley Central Track Station. Located in South Salt Lake, the project to connect buffered bike lanes along Main Street between 2000 South and Haven Avenue along West Temple between UTA S line and 2700 South. Curb bump outs will be installed at some intersections to calm traffic and provide a more comfortable experience for people crossing the street, providing first and last mile connections of the S line, Tracks Red, Blue lines, and Bus Route 21. Our Magna Downtown Revitalization project will install first and last mile connections to the Magna downtown area from UTA bus stops along Route 35 by providing new and improved sidewalk infrastructure on local streets connected to the bus routes along Magna Main Street. These streets are identified as important pedestrian corridors. Then in Roy Front Runner pedestrian bike crossing study. This study will evaluate and analyze the best approach to connect pedestrians and active transportations to the Roy Front Runner Station. And then our new project that is being proposed, the Bryan Head Commercial Corridor shuttle stops and crosswalk is an additional project that's been added. The scope of this project will be install shelters with benches and bike racks at 3 existing shuttle stops along 4 new crosswalks for improved and safe access to shuttle stops. So included in the packet, and I'll just kind of scroll through while I'm talking, is the maps for each of those projects. Sandy and Ogden, our Cottonwood Street buffered bike lanes, Midvale, and West Valley City, Salt Lake, our study location, and then the Bryan Head Corridor Shuttle Stops project. Our request today is a motion to approve the TTIF first mile, last mile projects to be amended into the current STIP as detailed.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. It's a motion and a second, thank you. And Ivan, all these matching funds been discussed and communicated to the local communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, comments? All in favor of this project, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8A-8 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item, 8A-9, is information only. 70th South and 1500 West Pedestrian Bridge is a Wasatch Front Regional Council and local government project, adding just under $3.2 million. This project is with West Jordan. The scope of the project is to build a pedestrian bridge across 70th South. The original scope had reusing a salvage structure, and during design it was determined the structure would not work. The additional cost is to build a new structure. It was approved in the Wasatch Front Regional Council tip modification on May 23rd. So located here on our map, again, this is information only. Also, information only, 8A-10, 7800 South Widening Project, with local funds adding $1.2 million to the project. Also with West Jordan, the scope of this project is to add 1 lane each direction and rehabilitate pavement from 7800 South from SR 111 to 5600 West. The current estimate exceeds the programmed amount. These additional funds will allow the project to proceed forward, meeting the original scope. So located here, Backus Highway, SR 111 to 5600 West. Our next item, project combination information only. We have 4 projects. The SR 9 700 West to Laverton and SR 9 Rockville to Zion National Park, and then the Region Culvert Rehabilitation Phase 14 and the US 89 Kanab Creek Bridge. These individual projects have previously been approved through commission action. Project combinations are done to provide efficiency in project delivery. Also, as information only, 8A-12, the Capitol Roundabout. The scope of this project is to reconfigure the intersection at 300 North and State Street. The initial project value provided funding for design, and the additional funds are to allow for construction. This item is information only. The project is funded through Department of Facilities, Construction and Management and was approved by the Capital Preservation Board.
A quick question on this one. I get a lot of constituents that reach out to me on this one, and we might have to go to Rob, but I want to thank Region 2 for, sharpening the pencil and going back to work on this after it was originally brought to our attention. I'm just wondering what changed between the initial proposal and what's now to be constructed.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Robert Stewart is online if we wanted to.
Yes, Rob, would you please?
Yes, Robert Stewart, Region 2 Director. So with the question is what's changed between the original scope and now?
Yes.
That's right, Robert.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there is no change in the original scope of that roundabout between what was originally proposed and now. What we did do over the course of the last 4 months was re-engage the community, take a harder look at what different types of intersections might help the safety of the intersection. And through that entire process, the outcome was still to install a roundabout.
And the nature of the roundabout didn't change at all or anything?
No, I mean, the design considerations for the roundabout have always been the relative size of it, trying to keep it as small as possible. The roundabout will require the movement of that state of Utah wall, which honestly, I think is a good thing for a lot of people because it'll create an intentional area for visitors that want to take pictures in front of the wall. It'll create that space. Currently, we have people that go out onto the islands out there on that intersection to take pictures of people in front of the Capitol. And so DFCM will be moving that wall back, creating more of a curved structure, I believe. Again, I think that's a good thing because it creates an intentional area for visitors to take pictures and whatnot.
I just make the comment that it's absolutely an intersection that needs improvement, and I just hope that this captures what we're looking for, and just remind commission members that it's a primary spot right in front of our Capitol where there's a lot of pedestrian activity, a lot of protest activity, and there's commuters racing up State Street headed to Davis County that are running through these neighborhoods, and so there's a lot of traffic calming kinds of issues. Sure. And I think it's so paramount that we handle this appropriately because it is our capital.
One other comment, if I may, just is that a lot of the concerns I believe from the community revolved around the traffic that has increased throughout this area, and because of that, we've kicked off a solutions development study, which is a planning level study to assess the overall traffic flow throughout this area to see if there's solutions that accommodate that traffic better. So,
yeah, thanks for that, Rob. And I'll just remind our commissioners, you have both Main Street, that can handle this traffic rather than Plymouth State and you have 300 West. I'm talking about the Davis County traffic up the University of Utah downtown. So there are options.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 8B1. This is the 2024 Programming Workshop Proposed Project List. In the May 2024 Programming Workshop, the department presented projects to preserve, maintain, and operate the transportation assets owned by the state of Utah. The attached list details the proposed project values from the programs requiring project-level approvals. That includes transportation solutions, structures, our high and low volume roads, protect, carbon reduction under Joint Highway Committee projects. So located in our packet, we have 8 pages of projects, high volume road projects, our low volume road projects, our structures program projects, carbon reduction, our protect program, our transportation solutions projects, and then our last page was the Joint Highway Committee projects. So our request today is a motion to approve the 2024 Programming Workshop proposed project list as detailed.
I'd
Anyone
move
want
for
to make this
approval.
motion?
I'd second.
Yeah, for several months, we have worked on these projects.
We've seen this quite a bit, talked about it a lot.
I guess because the sheer size of it, everybody's apprehensive to say yes or motion to approve. But it's a good project. We've seen it. We have discussed it in details. Thank you. So we have motion and a second on item 8B-1. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 8B-1 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item, 8B1, is the 2024 rural.
8B2.
Sorry, 8B2, thank you, is the 2024 Rural Public Transit Program for approval. Each year, UDOT Rural Public Transit Division presents the statewide Rural Public Transit Program to the Commission for approval and inclusion in the draft STIP. The statewide Rural Public Transit Program is a planning level summary of projects and cost estimates. The Rural Public Transit Program is presented in review for May and approval in June. Funding listed is not guaranteed until federal grants are issued. So our rural transit additional programming, those actions here. And our request today is a motion to approve the 2024 Utah Rural Public Transit Program as detailed.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I'll just make the obvious comment that I think the rural title there is odd. I'm just, seeing Washington County and Cedar City and a lot of pretty well-developed areas.
Yeah. In FTA, anything under 200,000 is considered the rural portion.
Anything under 200,000, any further 50 miles from Salt Lake is rural, in my opinion.
Many of these are metropolitan areas and micropolitan areas.
That's right. So, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Kevin. Motion carries. Item 8B-2 is approved.
Thank you. Our next item, 8B-3, is the draft 2025 Rec Trails Program for approval. The Federal Recreational Trails Program was authorized in Congress in 1991 as part of the Intermodal Service Transportation Efficiencies Act. This act established the RTP funding and Federal Rec Trails Trust Fund. The RTP grants are available for non-motorized and motorized trail projects. This program was continued under the current authorization. These projects are selected and administered through the Utah Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Outdoor Recreations. Funds may be used to provide and maintain recreational trails for motorized and non-motorized recreational trail uses, including trail side and trailhead facilities. It includes provisions to facilitate access for people with disabilities as well. From 2025 program, Utah has 36 projects totaling $2.9 million in federal aid funds. and just under 10 or 11 million of sponsors matching funds for a total of 13.7 million of new project value. Our contact informations are Maureen Casper and Evan Beich of the Department of Natural Resources. The recreational trails program was presented last month in the programming workshop and is now presented for your approval in May. Included in the packet is the list of our the Rec Trails proposed program. Initially, the non-motorized trails, each project, and then our motorized trail program, and then those projects that were, or those applications that were received but not recommended for funding listed here, contained in the 12 pages after the fact sheet. So our request today is a motion to approve the 2025 Rec Trails Program project listing as detailed.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you for the second motion. Any questions on this particular item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8B-3 is approved.
Thank you. Our next item, after all that work, a request for the release for public comment of our draft STIP. The draft 2025 to 2030 statewide transportation improvement program has been prepared and summarized to reflect the guidance and suggestions resulting from the region work priorities and the March and May commission workshops. Upon the approval for release, public notices will be posted through the Utah Media Group, and the draft will be placed on UDOT's website. The formal public comment period begins the 29th of June, 2024, and extends to the 3rd of August in 2024. The draft STIP can be sorted by county and region. A link to submit public comment will be provided on the UDOT website. The draft STIP will be brought back to the Transportation Commissioner for approval in August, along with any comments received. Our request today is a motion to approve releasing the draft fiscal year 2025 to 2030 STIP for public comment.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you for that. Any comments on the date, time, process?
It's a great process, so people will just take advantage of it and get in and
We
give us
hope.
feedback. Yeah.
All in favor of this item, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8B-4 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's all for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as you can see, Matt Moss is coming to talk to airport and see what you have to offer.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chair. Matt Moss, Aeronautics Director for UDOT. Just happy to be down here in Monticello. I spent a lot of time growing up down here in Monticello and Moab. This was our place choice to come to recreate. So I love this area and just really happy to be here. I'm always impressed at the amount of money that we spend on maintaining our roads. It's a huge feat to undertake, and especially when it's compared to what we spend on runways, but there's a lot more surface streets than there are asphalt on runways. But there is an old aviation saying that a mile of road will take you a mile, but a mile of runway will take you around the world. So
Wow.
when we look at the dollar amount compared to how far you can get it, we're definitely getting a lot more miles out of our runways. So
Matt, you got one of the best jobs in Utah.
I really do. I won't argue that with you. It's fun. I mean, for me, it's an office job a lot of the times, but when I need to take a break, it's fun to get out to the airports and talk with the airport managers and stuff. So I agree. Thank you, Lou. I want to thank my staff for the tireless number of hours that they put in putting this together. Nick Holt, who's with me today, and his staff have just worked, like I said, a number of hours coordinating with the FAA, coordinating with the airports. There's a lot of staff time that goes to put this report together. I also want to thank the Aviation Coalition. Dave was here earlier, and for their support and guidance and direction that they provide for us. And then, of course, thanking the commission for all you do in support of aviation in the state of Utah. Just real quick, I wanted to point out that in our current CIP that's been presented to the commission, for Monticello over the next 5 years, we have $4.2 million programmed, and a large portion of that money is for runway rehab in 2027. So that's in partnership with the FAA and the state, but we've got some great things happening in Monticello. For all of San Juan County, there's 9.1 million, and that includes what I mentioned for Monticello. And then in Grand County, for the next 5 years, we have 21.3 million programmed for that. And of course, the majority of that is going to Canyonlands Airport as a commercial service airport. There is no change except for one in the capital improvement plan that was submitted to you in the workshop, and that is for year 25 for the West Desert Airport runway. We had programmed in the ACIP that was submitted to the commission 2.3, and we're going to need to increase that just $250,000. We actually got bids back for that, and it's nice to have it as close as it was and not a lot larger amount, but there is that increase that I would ask that as you're considering the CIP to include that additional roughly $250 increase for West Desert Airpark. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And again, just excited to be here. Thank you.
Is this for approval or for information only?
This is for approval.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you need
so,
to state the motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, let's hear the motion first, Matt.
Okay, the motion is to approve the 2025-2029 Airport Capital Improvement Plan as detailed.
Thank you. There's the motion now. So moved. Thank you.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments?
Question,
Yes, please.
does the document that we're approving include the 250,000?
It does. Actually, if you look down, let me
Show the
scroll
chart, yeah.
down to page 4, it's highlighted in yellow. So it's showing 2.562 million instead of the 2.3 and change that was originally submitted.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question.
Carlos, you had a question?
No, Commissioner Van Tassel mentioned the exact same thing. I just wanted to make sure the commission understood that the change that Matt had mentioned was already incorporated
Included,
into
yeah.
this document for you. You didn't have to make any
Right.
additional motions.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification.
So with that, we have motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Item 8B-5 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Item number 6 is the Tollway Spatial Revenue Fund, and Troy Peterson is coming back.
So good morning, Commissioners. Troy Peterson, Operations Director. And I'm here to talk about the Tollway Special Revenue Refund. You may remember when back in May, we presented the request for utilizing the funds for the Tollway Special Fund in our operational side of things. And what our ask was is to be able to spend $2.9 million of that fund for our operational type. This is not scrolling. Here we go. Let me scroll down to page 2. You'll see the 2.9 million. And one of the things I just want to highlight is you may remember that we're nearing the end of life of our express lane equipment that's out there. We've got a project scheduled 26, 27, 2022, 2026 to 2027 to replace that infrastructure. Part of that we've been gearing up. We remember we have a pilot. In that pilot in here, we've asked $800,000 for the prototype to go and study a new service on how we would do the tollway as a service effort, and that was presented back in March. And this budget that we're asking for, this request for expenditures is to tie in, knowing that we have this end of life coming and where we're going. So you can see there's some differences in values. I'll just remind you real quick. The 1.25 that we're asking is for the business operations, running the system. I'm not going to go through all of them, just a couple of them. There's some differences in here. The equipment software and the maintenance support, those are tied together for maintaining our devices in the field. Knowing that we're coming to the end of the year of our life of our current system, less support needed, less analyzing our current system. So we anticipate spending a little bit less money there. We've also had a major push in doing some preventative maintenance out there. So we felt like we're in a good spot where we needed less support from our consultant team to help us. That's why you see some reductions there. All said and done, we're asking for $2.9 million, or asking to be able to spend $2.9 million out of that special tollway revenue fund. And that's today's motion, is to approve that $2.9 million as presented, as detailed.
Okay,
I'm happy to make that motion, Nagi.
thank you. Just a motion, and was that motion, second, Commissioner Van Tassel?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries with the Commissioner Kramer not available.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9, corridor preservation, and of course, Deanna is going to be presenting that today.
We were really excited to hear that the commission meeting was going to be in Monticello. I haven't been here in years. But we were in Moab at 3 o'clock, and I've never seen a severe weather alert that said apocalyptic storm. It was something else. The Region 4 guys didn't bat an eye. Shelley didn't breathe for about 20 minutes, and I had to pry my fingers off the steering wheel. Corridor preservation is doing really well. The budget we're going to bring before you right now is the end of April of this year. We started out with about $113 million with some revenue this month that looks good at 1.6, discounting the expenses that we had of 35,000, and some properties that closed. We had 4 properties that previously were approved that closed for just a little over 5.8, leaving us with a fund balance of 109.5. We have obligated a number of transactions, you'll see there, that have been approved in previous meetings. And that takes us down to 7.9 that's been approved with a fund balance of 1.1. And then we're going to bring before you 15.88 in new acquisitions. We're really moving really hard with corridor preservation to preserve those corridors before development occurs, which is nice to see. So this, you can see the trending of the income that's come in. And other than the interest rate going up and giving us a little bit of more of that than what we've seen in the past, it's pretty standard of what we've seen. So the first one we're going to bring before is agenda item 9.9A, excuse me. This is a deobligation request. Carla Cowley was going to sell us some land along West Davis corridor in West Point, but that project, that section of the project has been funded. So the project team is going to work with her to complete that transaction, and we're asking to deobligate $135,000 out of the corridor preservation fund so that we can use it for other needs, and she can be assisted as she moves forward. This is the piece here, 1.8 acres that we would be deobligating. So we're making a request to deobligate those funds.
I move that we deobligate the funds. Okay.
You don't get that very often.
It's always good when we can give money back.
Charles Stormont, you see his name.
Yes, he presented that to us back in 2022 before. Judge Stormont now, yes.
So don't go forward. We have a motion. We need a second first.
Yeah, I think.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 9-A is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 9-B is along SR 130 near Enoch. We're purchasing a strip of land. The total acreage of the parcel is 5.6 acres, but we're only buying 9,140 square feet. This has been a nice ability with the help of Region 4 to get ahead of this project down here around Cedar City and buy before they develop and preserve the area we need without having to buy entire parcels. So it's a little bit difficult to see, but this is the entire piece here outlined in blue. And then the piece we're buying would be under that pink line right along Minersville Highway or SR 130 to preserve the widening corridor that we need to go up to the roundabout there. And so there it is, kind of zoomed out where you can see as it comes off of I-15. So this was approved by the Advisory Council, and we would request that this be approved as well.
Okay,
I move for approval. This is Jim.
thank you.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item number 9-B is approved.
Thank you very much. The next one we're bringing to you is also along SR 130, 9-C. This is in the same area, but it's being purchased from Foster's Development. The total parcel is 8.7 acres, but we're buying just 1,875 square feet. And I'll show you where this is. Again, it's difficult to see because it's under the design lines for the highway, but it is this large blue parcel that they own, and we're buying just that little piece there as it abuts Minersville Highway or SR 130. And here it is zoomed out so you can kind of see the location along I-15. The Advisory Council has approved this. We would request the commission approve it as well.
I move for approval.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you for that. All in favor of this motion says aye.
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 Any opposed? Item number 9-C is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. The next one we'll bring to you is item 9-D, also along SR 130. We've been very busy down in that area. This property is owned by the Penny family in a trust. The property is 45 acres total, but we're buying about 1.3 acres from them. Again, right along the alignment, they're going to develop the balance, and we can acquire what we need and hold it in for future needs. So it's two different parcels, and these breaks you can see between those. Sorry, this mouse is very touchy. But in between those are planned future city streets. So that's why those breaks show on that. But what we would be buying is the alignment right under that blue line where we would widen SR 130. And then zoomed out so you can see the location along I-15 is there. The Advisory Council has approved this, and we would request that the commission do so as well.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
We have motion and a second on item number D. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Number 9-D is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next one we're going to bring to you is kind of exciting. If you remember, just a little while ago, House Bill 44 passed and gave us some additional funding for corridor preservation. And one of the items of focus that they wanted us to focus on was the Rush Valley area there between Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, heading down south, and it's being called the proposed Cedar Valley Highway. This is where we have met with the family and acquired, or are attempting to acquire, a small piece so that they can develop this much larger piece. They own just a little over 1,000 acres, and we're buying 74.2 acres from them if approved. Shelley's worked closely with this family, and we got this on the table for you, which we're excited by. If we zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see where this is located near Eagle Mountain, heading down south. The Advisory Commission has approved this transaction, and we're requesting your approval.
Okay.
Move for approval. This is exactly why we have the corridor
Yes.
And I'd second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item number 9-E is approved.
Thank you very much. I believe this is the last one we're bringing to you, item 9F. Again, this is in the Cedar Valley area where we're building that new highway. The subject property is 33 acres. We're acquiring just a little over 10.5. On this was again the area that was outlined in House Bill 44 with that additional funding down in this area of the state, which is looking to start growing very fast. You can see the larger parcel and the smaller piece that we would be acquiring of just under 11 acres, and here it is zoomed out. The Smith parcel was further up north that we just looked at, so we're moving right along on buying this land that's needed for the future Cedar Valley Highway. The Advisory Commission has approved this, and we would request that you approve it as well.
Thank you.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item 9-F is approved. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you very much.
Number 10 on your agenda is high priority corridor resolution, and Ivan Harder is coming back.
Hello again. Next item, item 10. This item will be presented for review this month, and in August, we'll be bringing back a request for approval. The Utah Transportation Code 725402 states that the planning and preservation of transportation corridors is a public purpose. Further, Utah Transportation Code 725403 directs the Utah Transportation Commission to designate transportation corridors as high priority transportation corridors for transportation corridor preservation purposes, which we just went through. The UTC Policy 0105 policy states that the Utah Transportation Commission, through resolution, shall amend, add, or remove designated high-priority transportation corridors. The resolution shall include recommendations identified by the Utah Department of Transportation for amendment, addition to, or removal from the list of designated high-priority transportation corridors, as well as the current list of UTC-approved high-priority transportation corridors. A copy of the approved resolution shall be sent to counties and municipalities in which the high-priority transportation corridors are designated. The department identified potential modifications to the current high-priority corridor list. The list of proposed changes are attached. The department proposes changes in this meeting and is presenting the list for approval in the August 16th, 2024 commission meeting. So the resolution here, similar to previous resolutions with one addition, and that is adding the front runner corridor that you can see from Box Elder, Weber, Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah County, the location from Brigham City to Payson.
I don't see the St. George there yet.
Stay tuned.
So we have sent a list to each county, municipality, any local government in which this change would be impacted, notifying them of today's meeting as well as the meeting upcoming in August.
Okay.
And that is an information-only item.
Any questions from Ivan? Thank you.
Thank you.
It is exciting. Item number 11, administrative rule review, and I think Ben Hewitt is going to be doing that. And while Elder Leaf is going to be staying online, just in case, we need a question.
Lucky you, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Ben Hewitt, Deputy Director, Planning and Investment. So this item is a for information only item on, no worries. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Administrative Rule R926-17 for the Road Usage Charge Program, commonly known as RUC. So this is a department rule, and per Utah code, the commission, we need to present these department rules for just review to the commission prior to us filing them with the admin rule, through the admin rule process where they do go out for public comment. So this rule is related to our road usage charge program. The changes are needed, as noted here, to harmonize this rule with some updates we've had with the program. We've recently entered into a contract with a new commercial account manager, or CAM. And so what we've learned over the past little while from the existing program and then the changes in our approach with this new account manager are going to be reflected in this proposed rule. They also, so a couple of the highlights here, it includes a difference in the way that the customer reporting happens, a little bit more efficient, quarterly instead of monthly. It's a little bit different on the way that the mileage is reported. We're going to more odometer based. And then also there was a focus on looking at how and what type of data is reported to the commercial account manager with an eye towards making sure we're only getting what we needed, and if the stuff they do get, everybody knows very clearly what is being collected. So, and then in addition to that, there's a lot of changes in this rule to increase clarity, readability, and be in conformance with the rule writing manual. One of my favorite things I was reading here, and this I think is a testament to our team, Leif and Peter, and I think Leif is online to help me if there's any hard questions, but the thing I liked about our submittal was that it cleans up language, lessening the amount of paragraphs needed to convey those sections provisions. I mean, I think that's, I think that's always good in the way that they take a look at that and they can say it clearly with less words.
Yes.
So the packet includes the proposed changes to the rule, all in strike. This is just the formal document that we submit that talks about the change, and then you can get to the rule text itself, and there's a lot of strike through and change on that in the definitions and cleaning up anything. So with that, I will volunteer Leif to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from commission? No. It was clear,
I make it a point
understanding.
not to have questions about administrative rules.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Leif, and enjoy your vacation wherever you are. Appreciate it to be with us. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Item number 12 on your agenda is information items, and that is a commission committee reports. I will start with my left, Commissioner Cartman.
I do not have anything for today, so thank you, Naki.
Okay, you're welcome. Commissioner Lou?
I do not either. I'll leave it up to Rhonda, the Court of Preservation, which I unfortunately was out of town and missed.
Commissioner Menlove?
Yes, thank you, Lou. We had a really great discussion in our quarter preservation meeting, and the staff was well prepared and shared information with us, and you've seen the results of their great work. There are some exciting moves now to try to get ahead of development, especially some things happening in western Utah County, which are exciting to me, and the fact that they're getting ahead of some of the issues there. We're appreciative of the funding that's available to us, and the staff does a great job preparing that information and presenting the funding requests. So we had a great discussion and a good meeting. Thank you. We did miss Lou and his wonderful positive comments.
Well,
That's why you had such a good meeting. But thank you.
No, we missed you, Lou.
well, thank you. Commissioner Evans?
Yes, besides the normal good mountain land planning meetings we have down there that have a really good attendance by all the mayors in the valley down there. We're now working, we have HCRZ committee. We're working on project for the North Farmington Station area. We've had one meeting. They had to go back and we'll have follow-up Zoom, I think. So anyway, enjoy the opportunity to be involved with that. Thanks, Nagi.
Thank you. Commissioner Van Tassel?
Nagi, this is Commissioner Menlove. I missed a couple things. I'm sorry. I want to compliment Rob White. He recently held meetings in Rich County and Cache Valley. He brought his team here to look at important issues we're facing. some really critical issues with Logan Canyon and some of the travel between Cache and Rich and some of the issues in Cache Valley. And Rob and his team were very knowledgeable and answered all our questions. And we can see some things that could be done to help the challenges moving forward. So I want to thank him for those meetings.
Thank you. Commissioner Van Tassel?
Yeah, we've had a couple of meetings with the Wasatch Front Regional Council. We're seeing that work come through, so good to be a part of that, hear the input from the local mayors and county people, and good to be representing UDOT on that committee.
Thank you. Commissioner D
And
doesn't have.
by the
any-
way, Rhonda, we're not ahead. We're in Eagle Mountain. We're just about getting further behind.
Good point.
We will catch up one of these days. Commissioner D doesn't
I
have an
doubt it.
assignment yet. Not yet. We're just giving you the opportunity to relax and get used to your seat, and then we'll come back to you.
He has a plan to visit all of the airports in the state of Utah, for starters.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I had opportunity also to attend my meetings for the Dixie Transportation Executive Council, which they talked about the Safe Street plan for all plans, discussed for the district, transit district, possibility of the changing the transit district, which we had the UDOT people present a good case and good analogy compared to Cache Valley Transit System. Discussion of the Northern Corridor, which is a very important corridor for us for Southern Utah. I hope one of these days we can get some kind of opportunity to get yes from BLM and the agencies involved. On the CIB, along with the Commissioner Adams, we had a policy retreat in Duchesne on June 5th, and we discussed all these things is involved, our assignments, our policies that we have to follow, all the responsibilities that we have to be keenly aware of, and also discuss the water sewer department of the state, the things they can do for us, the money they have available for us to use. And in that, of course, this was the trimester for funding. There was 6 projects got funded, which makes a big difference. And UDOT has a key role to play, even in the CIB. So thank you, UDOT, for helping us and giving us the opportunity to be part of it. One more important meeting I attended by invitation was the Incident Management Team Coalition meeting. This was in this Hurricane office. It is unbelievable that how many of the agencies have stayed involved in cleanup in case of accident emergency in the highways. I was impressed to see. We had 40 people attended to that meeting, and they told me that was short of number. And it was amazing to see from helicopter, from ambulance, from the fire trucks, from the local sheriff's department, highway patrol. It takes a lot of people to save lives, and the time that they show up, from the time they show up to the time they clean up and leave, is unbelievable. We complain about the 15, 20 minutes of the being in the car because we have to go someplace. But those people, some of them told me they're there for 3 hours from the time they arrive, the time they finish, depends on, of course, the size of the accident or incident. It is amazing to see. And UDOT has a key role to play. And it was just the live demonstrations of the saving lives and packing the helicopter, rescuing people. So if you haven't attended one of those meetings, please do attend and learn about it. Next commission meetings will be in Provo. We don't have any meeting in July, so have happy reunions. But in August, we'll have the reunions about Provo, and that will be 15th and 16th. Any more updates or any information you want to share? No? Lisa? Ben? Region directors? Well, folks, we love you. I hope you understand our roles as a commission and the UDOT. We work together as a family, and I'm so proud to be part of the UDOT family. I have traveled throughout the states for the last couple of months, and I've seen other states compared to UDOT. I can tell for sure that we are doing much better job than those states in our roads, our projects, deliveries, saving monies. You saw how much money returned to the coffer, almost 3.5 million, because of being frugal, because of being so disciplined how to spend the money or how to deliver the projects. I hope you be patient with us. UDOT, as you can see, they're good listeners. They listen, they're available, they're transparent, and they're willing to work. And if there's opportunity to deliver any projects in your communities and counties and cities and towns, state level, we are there for you. After all, the life saving is the #1 priority for UDOT and for the commission. But please work with us, be patient, and most of all, love us and let us to love you back. With that,
Hey, Nagi.
yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, I ought to mention, I'm not wearing this tie. I am patriotic, but this next week, just invite anyone. We have all of our Freedom Festival events in full swing. Between now and next week, Sunday, there's a patriotic service in the Marriott Center. Matt Holland's the speaker. We have the 4th of July Parade and Pro, the Balloon Fest, State of Fire, the Freedom Runs, the galas, on and on. You go to freedomfestival.org, you can see a list of all the events, and we'd welcome any or all of you to join us for any of those you'd like to next week. So,
Well, thank you for doing that, and thank you for chairing that committee, and thank you for hard work, and appreciate all you do for us for the state of Utah.
welcome.
Any other questions and comments? Seeing none, I want a motion for adjournment, please. Anyone?
So moved.
There you go. That's not debatable. Thank you.
Thanks, Nagi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.